So today we're going to look at some ways to bring your photos to life. Not literally, of course, because that would be kind of weird. Actually, that would be kind of cool now that I think about it. Hey, thanks for joining me. As you can see, I'm changing it up a little bit today. We're working with photos. Now, I'm not a great photographer. I love to take pictures, but I'm not a great photographer. But when I do take pictures, I love to bring those pictures into my videos. It's not always easy. A lot of times we bring it into After Effects or some other kind of software and we arrange them that way to make them fly in or something, and they look very cool. But for me, I wanted something a little bit more organic. I wanted to take those photos and actually videotape those photos. You can tell I'm a video guy. Of course, I love to shoot video, and that's why I'm doing this. Anyways, this is an interesting way to bring those photos to life, to make them a little bit more exciting. And we're going to take a look at some ways you can do that today on this video. Okay, so this process is pretty simple. You need, of course, the photos, and you need something to rig the photos up. Right now, all I have is some light stands, some old light stands that I had kicking around, and I have some twine. I suggest using something kind of cool looking like twine or some kind of old rope to make it a more rustic look. Now, I'm using two things. On the back, I'm using tape, mainly because it's so windy today that I need to use something stronger than the clothespins. But the clothespins work fantastic normally. The one thing about the clothespins is that I don't really like the look of these clothespins. They're brand new and they do the job. They're a little bit big, a little bit heavy, but they do the job. The best thing to do is find some really old clothespins. I'll give you a little story. My mother-in-law hangs clothes out in the country, and she does a great job of hanging her clothes. They really make good use of the clothesline. That's fantastic. And she had some really cool old clothespins. Like, they were rusted, and the wood was all kind of, it wasn't rotting, but it was, you know, discolored from the sun and the wind and the rain. It was awesome. So I was going to make a switch, take those ones and give her the new ones. But I missed my window. That's all my fault. And she bought new ones because the old ones are yucky and threw them away. Anyways, if you find those, grab those. That's perfect for something like this to give you that rustic look. I really like that look. But if you don't have that, that's fine. Tape, clothespins, anything that you're going to stick on, little clamps, whatever you want to use, that's fantastic. You just want something that's going to hang those photos up. And that's why I'm using the twine today. I like the look of the twine, especially when it starts to fray a little bit. I really like that. Now I'm shooting at 120 frames. My shutter is 250. My ISO is 200 and my aperture is 3.5. Now this is a great lens for this kind of stuff. However, I'm noticing some problems already. Now, see those light stands in the back? I don't want to see those. That's okay. I'm not zoomed in, so let's try that. We zoomed in a bit. Because of this lens, when we zoom in, my aperture closes down a bit, but that's okay. Now, some of these photos, the photos in the front that you're seeing, those are from my friend Terry Tucker, and he's got his own little company, Terry Tucker Photography, and he does some fantastic work. He's actually not a full-time photographer, although he probably should be. He does it on the side, and he does a great job. He has a really good eye for photography, and a really good job finishing these photos to make them look fantastic. Now the ones in the back are mine, and that's why they're in the back, because they're mine. Like I said, I do like taking photos, but I'm not the greatest, and it's good to learn from somebody like Terry on how to get better photos. Now, a lot of times I like to change my focus of where I'm focusing on. Now, as you can see, I'm focusing on the back photos now, trying to keep them as crisp as I can, and that foreground I want it to be as out of focus as possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but hey, you try different things and maybe you'll get it. Now, I'm using a bit of a cheaper slider. Now, I'm doing this all by hand. A motorized slider would probably be a better idea, but I do love to be in control of the slider, and you can do that with that motorized slider, no problem. And this is a cheaper one, so the wheels and the brushings and stuff aren't as smooth as I wish, but hey, you use the gear you have, right? At least that's what I keep telling myself. Now, this idea is fantastic when it comes to sports. I'm always trying to find new ways of getting photos into my videos when I'm coming to sports. One of the shows I used to produce was for the Ottawa Senators, and on that show I was always trying to get photos that I can manipulate and use in my features and my profiles. Now, it's a little bit more difficult because those are professional photos and we getting the rights and everything, that's fine. But for minor sports, almost every team has a photographer or a parent who loves taking photos. Some of them will be great, and that's what you really got to use. Now, if you think about sports, you can use them in hockey. You got some good background going, get those photos up against the glass or anywhere else in the rink, that's going to look good. Baseball is amazing. Put it on that fence while the kids are taking batting practice or even a game going on, that's going to be amazing. But anything else, football, soccer, would really work well in here. One of the other things I like to do, if you're doing, let's say, a birthday party or anything for kids, you're at the playground, right? Of course, if you're going to shoot at the playground, make sure all the other parents know what you're doing, that you're not some creep with a camera. I'm not a creep with a camera, so it was okay. But anyways, I always let them know. And then you have that playground background going with the photos in the foreground. It looks fantastic because the playgrounds are very colorful and there's kids flying all over the place. And of course, when you're focusing on the photos, you're not focusing on the kids. So there's really nothing to worry when it comes to photographing the kids because they're so out of focus you can't see them. But I always make sure I let the parents know what I'm doing, and I'll bring them over and I'll show them, and they're fine with it most of the time. So hopefully I showed you a really cool way of bringing those photos to life. If you're a photographer and a video producer, this is a great way to bring those two loves, those two hobbies together. I really love this idea, and I'm using it right now as more of a landscape photography and video, but you can use it in almost any situation to bring those photos to life. Anyways, if you have any questions at all, let me know. I really appreciate taking the time to watch the video, and like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want, and we'll see you next time.